And now our next speaker is Stephen Masur, the partner at Masur Griffiths Plus LLP. Stephen has over 24 years of experience advising both new and established businesses on new opportunities and business challenges, most recently on blockchain and cryptocurrency regulation. So let's all give a warm welcome to Stephen.
Thank you so much. Hey, nice to see everybody. I'm really excited to be here. My name's Steve Masur. I am a partner at a law firm in New York and Los Angeles called Masur Griffiths, MG Plus Law. And it's a firm that focuses on working with early stage companies and really all growth stage companies. You might ask, why am I in Malta? Well, I read in the newspaper today that Jack Ma, the CEO of Alibaba, is bullish on blockchain. Well, I freaking hope so, right? I think everyone here is bullish on blockchain, and so are we. I have been working with early stage companies for most of my career, for about 25 years. And one of the biggest problems is obviously the capital formation process. So it's actually just like the last presentation in which they said, why don't we divert some of this easily liquid money to doing social good? I feel the same way about early stage companies. I think a lot of the value in the world is created by early stage companies and new ideas. And early stage companies really have the ability to change the human experience. And I think we've all experienced that, and I think that's why a lot of us are here. And that's a message I think that more people in our industry should sort of promote in the world, because the reason we're here, the reason many people are here is that others are here for Lambos, and the people who are here for Lambos are the ones who get the most news attention. So if the rest of us talk about the good things that blockchain can do, I think it will help. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm a US lawyer, and the capital formation process in the US has been very inefficient. We've created some pretty exciting companies, but getting money for them in the early stage is actually very difficult. And that's a good thing, because a lot of the companies aren't going to be that good. And you need to have some friction so that only the good ideas survive. But the problem is it's very complicated raising money. And so if you look at a tip, we've come up with all of these ways of doing it. We came up with the convertible note, which gave way to the SAFE document. And in every case, when you're creating equity in a company, you have to explain about the capital table of the company. It's very complicated and boring. And it's hard to explain to the founders. It's hard for the founders to explain to the people who are investing. And one of the biggest problems is the lack of liquidity. Once you put your money in a blockchain or any early stage company, it's probably going to be there for a while. Maybe it'll be there forever and you'll never get it back, or maybe you'll get it back in 5 years, but you pretty much have to be there for the long haul. And what's interesting to me about blockchain technologies and its effect on capital formation is that you can have faster liquidity. And the other thing that it allows is really the democratization of investing in startups. So why is it that only rich people should be able to invest in startups? I don't think they should. I think a lot of people can make good investment decisions, and if they aren't investing their whole net worth and causing themselves to go into financial ruin, they should be able to invest in startups too. And so blockchain technology enables that as well. So what are the problems? Well, regulation is a problem, and blockchain technology is really pushing the boundaries of what's called extraterritorial application of law. So up until now, it has been mostly that laws were applied territorially inside one country or another country, and the sort of examples of cross-territory investing were more rare, and especially cross-territory investing in early-stage companies. And blockchain really kind of blows that out of the water, where people from any country can invest. And our audience here and the people speaking are a perfect example of that. You've seen people from every corner of the globe, and as an industry, there are people from every corner of the globe. So that's really put pressure on the laws in our country, the United States, and it's famously known that in the US, most tokens are seen as securities by the SEC, and that means that you can't really offer the tokens without either registering them as a security or getting an exemption to the securities laws. So that's where Malta becomes important for us in the US, is that the Malta regulations that are soon to be adopted will enable ICOs and crypto securities to be, or crypto tokens, to be well-defined and put in a regulatory structure that works, and that will work under the laws of Malta, which is a sovereign territory, a sovereign country, and also under the laws of the EU, where the tokens will be sort of defined in terms that are accepted in the EU securities regulations. And as a result, and this is where it becomes interesting for investors in the US, a security that is correctly sort of regulated in Malta and accepted in the EU is one that the SEC is unlikely to extraterritorially apply its laws against. And I'm happy to answer more questions about that, because there's a lot really to say there. But it's very exciting that Malta is adopting these laws and really sort of leading the way in doing that. Because there's a lot of countries that you can do your ICO in, and at our firm we're working with companies that are doing ICOs in a lot of different jurisdictions. And the problem is that in the other jurisdictions, the laws are either non-existent or not necessarily all that clear. And the last thing I'm going to say is really exciting about how the law is being pushed here. And I'm sure your experience of it is not an exciting experience, more like a frustrating experience where you're being advised, if you're an entrepreneur, you're getting conflicting advice from different attorneys, and there's a lot of lack of clarity, and your lawyer is saying you can't sell your securities in the US, or they're not sure what's going to happen, and all of that's true. What's exciting is that these lawyers are talking to each other and being very collaborative, which is in keeping with the way the industry works, and also in keeping with the way lawyers should work. And the way lawyers often do work is when we reach an area where we are moving out of a territory that we should be advising people in, we usually reach out for a helping hand. And that's how the profession in any country really operates, and that's how it's operating in this industry. The work that we're doing in Malta, well, I'm not really doing work in Malta because I'm not qualified to do work in Malta, but I have great local counsel here, and there are a number of lawyers in Malta who are involved in the regulatory structure here, either working in it or actually even communicating with the government agencies that are adopting these statutes. And that's who we're working with to help people do the ICOs and do the work that's coming out of Malta. So it's just a really, really, really exciting time for us as attorneys to watch the law really evolve in this space. And the only thing I can ask of everyone is, patience, I guess. It's going to take some time. There's going to be some disintermediation. There's going to be a lot of fearful sort of reactions to things that are happening. But it's an exciting time. And everyone seems to be, like Jack Ma, bullish on blockchain. And even the people who are sort of against allowing ICOs to happen in their territories believe that blockchain as a technology is something that can really change the world. And their concerns are really based on there's no way to fit it into the regulatory structures that work. But they're not saying that it shouldn't happen. And so that's what's exciting. There's going to be a lot of work to do, and a lot of collaboration is required, and we should be really careful about how we do it, because there have been a lot of missteps when other technologies came to the fore, and we should try to avoid those in the case of blockchain technologies, especially as applied to capital formation. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm really excited to have you. And I have to say, I'm really inspired by this community. I mean, these are real legal issues. These are real problems that we have to solve. And I couldn't be more inspired and more excited to be an attorney now working on these things, because it's really the future, and it's really what I went to law school to do. And it's just, I've been working a long time. It's taken a long time to get to this point, but I'm really excited and thankful to be part of the community and excited about all of your projects. So thanks a lot.